offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goal in the back of the net.
It's been a half-decade of dominance in the conference from this golf team, Thomas. You have them in the C tier. What are we doing?
I'm
4 out of the last
expecting a
5 years they've won the
championship at this
championship.
Talk about the present stuff. And, well, actually, I'm going to talk about the past right now.
At least if you're going to pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
I don't know if anyone knew. She just got a Barbie. And to me, if you get a Barbie, that means you've made it in life. So, I mean, Alona Mari.
Are you ready for some debate? Because Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome to Studio 125 for tonight's episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Catroina Jablonski, and alongside me for the final time is Zach Naffah and Rose Carrotta. Guys, how are we feeling tonight?
I'm pumped. I'm ready to get right into it. I'm super excited.
I am so happy to be on desk with you guys tonight.
Well, let's get right into our debate. This past weekend, the acrobatics and tumbling team competed for the first NCAA title since 2018 after defeating Oregon in the semifinals and then went on to win 4 individual event titles. Through all of the events during the national championship run, which do you believe was their strongest? Zach, with this being our senior show, why don't you go first?
Yeah, it was a great run for the acrobatics and tumbling team, and I think that over the weekend, the best event had to have been the toss. The toss event, they consistently performed well in. They were better in every single meet than every other opponent. They beat Iona by .825, they beat Oregon by .75, and they beat Baylor, who were the national champions, by beating Quinnipiac by .075, which isn't a lot, but they still beat them and at the very least kept it close in a close meet. On top of that, they had 2 individual titles in the 450 salto and the synchronized. So not only were they better across the board with their scores in every single meet against other teams, they also took home multiple individual titles. I just don't think there's an argument for anything over toss. I think they did well in other events, but I think toss was their strongest over the weekend.
Yeah, I have to give you that. The toss was incredible over their run, and I agree with you in the individuals for sure. But when I was taking a look, I had to go with the pyramid.
Okay.
Over the course of the weekend, they were very consistent with their pyramid, and it consistently got better over the course of the weekend. There was a slight dip versus Oregon, but it jumped back up versus Baylor 100%. And the way that they were able to consistently score higher than their opponents over the course after pyramid, and the pyramid was where they first were able to gain points against Baylor, which as much as they didn't beat them, it was much closer than I think a lot of people expected it to be, and they went a lot further than some people expected as well. As well as that, over the course of the heats, they were consistently improving over their heats, where with the toss, when you look at it, they had a dip during the synchronized heat for the toss, and I think that that's kind of a place where if you can gain some points over that heat, you might be able to gain some of those points back against a tough team like Baylor.
I completely agree with you there, but the thing for me is, even though they might have had a dip, they were still better than other teams, which I know, Acro, you're kind of more competing against yourself than those other teams, but to consistently beat every single other team, and on top of that, they got 2 individual events. No one else got multiple individual events for Quinnipiac in any event besides in the toss. So I think that because they didn't lose a single toss to any other team and they had the 2 individual titles, they went undefeated plus had multiple individual titles. I just think that it's tough to take anything over the toss there.
Well, guys, we're going to head onto the courts as this past weekend, the women's tennis team marked their 2nd straight MAAC title and 9th overall. Similarly enough, though, the women's golf team also marked their 2nd straight MAAC title and their 7th overall. With both these in mind, which team do you both feel is the most dominant? Rose, you start.
I have to say, before I say anything, the dominance of these 2 teams is absolutely undeniable. These programs have been incredible, and they've been incredible for a while. I personally have to go with women's tennis for this question, because I feel like if we're looking at which team is more dominant, my choice has to be women's tennis. If you take a look, I mean, Sofia Fujita is absolutely incredible, and the women's golf team is great, but I think that the team can be a little top heavy at times. I think that they rely on her a lot, and she's incredible. But if you look at who makes those points for the women's tennis team, Willow Renton and Caitlin Flower have been the dominant number 1 double for a while for the team, but they have other players like Veka Sakarina. She had her 12th singles win of the season against Mout. She's won 7 in a row straight sets, and she's undefeated in conference singles. So I think if you take a look at the overall team dominance, I have to go with women's tennis.
I think that's a good argument. Again, I don't really know if there is necessarily a wrong answer, but there have been some crazy postseason performances from this golf team that I don't think you can argue are like better than anything else you could see because over this year, I think women's tennis might have been more dominant. Over the last 5 years, they both have three MAAC championships. But Sofia Fujita, Samantha Galantini were both in the top of their MAAC championship this year. In 2025, they won by 13 strokes and had the top 2 scorers in the MAAC tournament. In 2024, they got third, tied for third. They lost by 3 strokes. Leanne Peralta was only 1 shot behind the leader. So even in ones they lose, they still have someone close to the leader. In 2023, they won by 28 strokes, 3 all-championship team selections. Every single year, they have had multiple all-championship team selections. So I don't think it's fair to say that they are carried by 1 or 2 golfers when they've had 2, 3, and even as high as 4 players on the All-MAAC championship team, and that was just last year that they had those 4 selections. So I think that, again, it's great, but Fujita was MAAC Player of the Year, as well as Rookie of the Year last year. Samantha Galantini was 2024 Rookie of the Year, and individual crowns for other players since 2022. They've had 3 different players win individual crowns. 3 different players.
Willow Redden was also the unanimous Player of the Year for the MAAC this
I agree.
year
That's
as
why
well.
I said this year I go
There's
women's
no
tennis.
denying that both of these teams, I think, are considered dynasties at this point. They are absolutely incredible, and I'm not denying that over the past couple of years, golf has been incredibly dominant. But when I consider this, I considered it from the perspective of this year and these tournaments specifically. And obviously, Quinnipiac took the MAAC championship with golf, but they were very, very close. They were 3 strokes ahead of Fairfield. So that was a very close battle there. And you know, golf's all about that. Like, that's understandable. But I just feel like the fact that the tennis team didn't give up a single point to Mount, they only gave up 1 point to Fairfield in the tournament. I think that you have to appreciate both of them winning back-to-back titles. I think it's incredible for the school. I think they're incredible programs. I just think for this year, tennis takes it.
I concede this year,
Well,
but
guys,
overall,
that was some great debate. But now we have to head to our first commercial break. But when we return, Zach will be sharing his cue list, and then Rose and I will react to his picks. Stay with us.
Anybody want a package?
Don't worry, sir, baby. I got you.
And do you want to breathe?
He got into some sloppy situations.
Uncle Aaron's locked up for touching all those kiddos.
Here comes the boom. Boom!
Quinnipiac Tonight is Q30's premier sketch comedy show. Watch it live every other Thursday at 9:30 in the Piazza, or tune in online at q30tv.com/watch.
Clap if you care.
Buckle up! Nobody is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your canine fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
From Hamden to Hollywood.
We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you're just joining us, I'm Catroina Jablonski, and alongside me are our analysts Zach Naffah and Rose Carrotta. Now, Zach is going to share us his cue list, where he ranks the top Quinnipiac athletic achievements since 2022. After he shares his picks, Rose and I will react to them. Zach, you ready to get started?
I am more than ready. Let's get right into it. My 5th selection. I'm going to have to go with the men's tennis team's back-to-back MAAC titles in 2022 and 2023. Now, the first time they won it, it was their first ever championship. Incredible outright there. Then to go back-to-back with an undefeated season, that is obviously an incredible achievement. And then 4 All-MAAC selections for them, 2 of those being first-teamers. I just think that when you only lose 1 match in conference play across 2 years, it is hard to argue that that team doesn't deserve a spot on this list, especially because they went back-to-back. Now, another team that went back-to-back, though, let's get right into the number 4 team, because number 4 also went back-to-back women's soccer's back-to-back MAAC titles in 2022 and 2023. Quite the way to start off college as a first year with back-to-back MAAC titles for both those teams. But why would I pick women's soccer over men's tennis? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. How about the MAAC Coach of the Year, the Golden Boot Award winner, the Golden Glove winner, and a 3-way tri-defensive tie for Defensive Player of the Year. 11 All-MAC honors, 7 of them All-MAC first-teamers. This women's soccer team, especially that second undefeated season, is one of the best teams I have ever watched live. That team was dominant from game 1 all the way to the final MAC championship game. And Dave Clark did a terrific job, and they almost went undefeated the following season before dropping to Fairfield. I just think that the women's soccer team going 28-7-2 across that stretch, but undefeated in MAC play, especially after that 4-0 blowout of Niagara in that first year, was just a little bit better than men's tennis because of their dominance there.
I'm intrigued to see what you put higher than that, honestly.
I think higher than that is what we just talked about. At number 3, I got to give it a tie. We just talked about it in A block. I'll tie golf and women's tennis. 3 MAC titles in 4 years. What's better than 2? 3. And these teams both did it. We already talked about it a little bit last block, but Renton back-to-back player of the years, 6 All-MAC first-teamers, 6 All-MAC selections and 3 first-teamers in 2023 for the women's tennis team. Dominant in and out. Paula Miller has a dynasty, as you mentioned. Then O'Connor and golf. Individual crowns, player of the years, rookie of the years. You got Sophia Fujita back-to-back McLeod trophies for the Bobcats. I just think that it's incredible. And the women's tennis team has not lost in MAC play since April 15th against Fairfield. I just think both of these teams, three's better than 2, so I'm going to put them at number 3. What's better than 3, though? I'll raise you 4. How about 4 for 4? Women's cross country. 4 straight MAC titles. The first program in Quinnipiac to win 4 straight MAC championships in its women's cross country. Sure, they don't get a lot of love on campus. You can't go to all their events the same way you can other sports. But the Bobcats, 5 runners, top 15 finishes, and earn all MAC honors. When you go perfect in conference championships, that deserves to get mentioned. In these sports, all for mid-major schools, conference championships matter more than anything else. So I just think that with cross country, when you go 4 for 4, you can't beat that. But you know what can beat that? A national championship.
Yeah, there it is.
Number 1, men's ice hockey 2023. Rand Pecknold and the Bobcats raise up the banner. A dominant season from start to finish. You can talk all you want about conference championships. Bobcats, 6 straight Cleary Cups. That's nice winning in the regular season. 1 Whitelock Cup way back in 2015-16. But what's better than a MAC championship or an ECAC championship, a national championship? And on top of that, the game was completely amazing. Frozen 4 was awesome. 2-1 win in the national championship. I just don't think you can top anything but that national championship because, again, it's a national championship. You get an actual full banner in your entire arena.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. I guess I'll ask you the more thorough question now that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Why not bump up women's soccer maybe 1 more? I know you said 3's better than 2.
3's better than 2.
But you talked about the accolades of that team. Is it really just the numbers for you?
I think it's a little bit of the numbers, but we mentioned they had the player of the year for Renton back-to-back years. The Bobcats didn't have that same dominance over a sustained stretch. So when I look at this list, I was thinking about achievements overall. I value the dominance over the long period of time than just 1 season or 2 seasons. So while, yes, Quinnipiac women's soccer and Dave Clark did do great for those 2 years, and it did also play great. They didn't lose a game in MAC play until the playoffs this year against Canisius in an incredible game. But to lose to Fairfield twice, not this past season, but the season before, and then to not even make it out of the quarterfinal round, I just don't think I can take that team. Yes, they were dominant, but I'm looking at back-to-back undefeated titles, and that just kind of is more of the tiebreaker between men's tennis and women's soccer than it was to have them boost up the list.
Well, Zach, I am going to have to agree with you for your number 1 pick overall because
I don't think that's debatable.
I don't think it's debatable at all. I think there was just something so special about coming to campus our first year and having that more insane morale booster of winning that national championship. Really, honestly, I could say that we're still riding the high from that.
The only thing I would say that I regret about that is that it was during Easter weekend. There were not a lot of students, including myself, on campus. A lot of people were at home, so we're watching it either with their families or at home, wherever they were. So I think that if that had happened on any other weekend, the campus would have been going crazy. I think it still did a little bit, but it toned down a little bit. But you can't really tone down a national championship, especially the first in school history.
First in school history, and not to mention the fact that also that was the year that UConn also went on a crazy run. So in Connecticut in general, so great.
I actually want to see the list one more time because I was pretty interested. I was surprised that women's ice hockey recent championship, ECAC championship, didn't make your list.
So the 2 that I think were kind of close, actually there were 3 that were close. The first one that I had that were probably my honorable mention would have been the 2022 women's volleyball team that made that won the
I was
first
surprised to
round
not see
championship.
that too.
They went on a run. They weren't a great team. They weren't dominant like they have been the last 3 years. That really started their run with that first year class. That one just missed. It was their first ever. The problem with the women's ice hockey and with Acro, which was also close, making a national championship this year, they had done it before. I value more the first time having that happen. This year, it was great. I just think that you've done it before, you've won it before. It is what it is.
That's understandable.
Well, guys, we need a breather here on desk, but stay with us because when we return in 90 seconds, we will be giving out our yearly awards for Game and Coach of the Year.
Left for Vidicek. Vidicek walking in. Shot. Save made. Rebound. Score!
Did you miss this goal last night? No worries. We got you covered.
Antonin Varel gets the puck to Ethan Winbach in front of the net. He puts it past Alvin Breya.
Every team, every game.
She shoots it blocker side into the net.
All the news, highlights, and more.
First year connection. Ty Turner to Keith McKnight.
This is Sports Pause. Monday nights at 9:30, only on Q30 Television.
The go-to Quinnipiac news source for students, by students. We've got the latest on campus news, student life, and stories all around the country. Get to know your local community with features on Hamden businesses and politics. Everything you need to know, all in 30 minutes. Wednesdays at 9:30, reporting for the Quinnipiac community.
I'm Melissa Sheehan. I'm Sophia DeBona.
I'm Amari Smith.
I'm Christina Semanis. I'm Riley Farrell.
I'm Andrew Allison.
I'm Miranda Patorti.
We are the Q30 Newscast.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Our friends at QBSN are here to recap Zach Naffah's best calls throughout his 4 years, plus a special trip down memory lane.
Zone, tried to get it to Berger in the slot. Gronwald turned that aside. Blaze against Chen. Now it's Marcellus, looks up, Winbach, in all alone, he scores! Ethan Winbach! The Superman Selly in front of the student section. 1-0 Bobcats with the nation's leading point scorer. Sword ends up with the puck. Marcellus with it, right circle. Across the left circle, Sword pass it for a tip in front, they score! 2-0 Bobcats. I'm Zach Naffah, alongside Luke Goldberg. We're going to be your broadcasters for the men's soccer game today as the Quinnipiac Bobcats take on the St. Peter's Peacock. On the box, back out Seguro, takes a touch, now he's into the box, a left foot shot, blocked away by Holt, rebound, Ristolsis in front, Hollum gathers it up and scores! William Hollum puts the Bobcats up 1-0.
Hey Kat, congratulations on your finishing up your 2 years on the QBSN e-board. It's been great getting to know you these last 2 years.
What's up, Kat? Thank you for the last couple of years. It's been a pleasure social media managing with you for the last 2 years. Seeing your growth from my first year of social media managing, my sophomore year, up until now has been amazing.
Hey Kat, congratulations on your last breakdown show. I know we've been working together for about 2 years now on the QBSN e-board, and every single time I go in, every Wednesday, you bring in a new fun and fresh energy.
It's been great being able to work with you on the QBSN e-board this year, and it's been great also to get to know you as a person. We're going to miss you so much.
Kat, I'm really going to miss you. It's been a great time, as Anthony mentioned, just being on the e-board and being around you as a person. But
hey Kat, we're in the media suite right now, working on this element. It's me and Davila, it's Nick Olson. From all three of us, congrats on everything you've done. It was an amazing career. Couldn't have asked for a better friend and a better partner in this work. Thank you.
Now, with the 2025-26 year coming to a close, it is time for us to dish out some awards. Up first, let's kick things off with the picks for Game of the Year. Rose, let's hear yours first.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what you take here. My take is women's hockey 5-1 win versus Yale. the ECAC championship win game. Now, the reason why I picked this is because I don't think that this was like their best performance. I mean, earlier in the season, at the end of the regular season, they had an overtime comeback win against Yale, which was an incredible performance.
We'll get to that.
This, to me, is the amalgamation of their season. This is what they fought for. This was their goal. They preached believe the entire season. And they had so many players step up over the course of the ECAC tournament. And then Ella Johnson, a first year with a multi-goal performance. Felicia Frank, who has had an incredible year. I mean, that's undeniable. She's been an incredible player. She had a 9.69 save percentage in the game. And people talked about depth all year for the team because of Kayla LaMarche, which obviously she was incredible. But she didn't even score a goal in the game. She had, I believe, an assist or two. But the absolute dominance of this team and the fact that they fought to win their first ECAC championship of 10 years is incredible.
I'd pick that as maybe as the top moment of the year.
Okay.
For sure. Top game, you already mentioned it. Their first game, or excuse me, their final game of the regular season against Yale.
Okay.
What's better than a comeback win? Down 3-1, they win it 4-3 in overtime. They pulled a goalie with less than 3 minutes left and scored 2 goals in the final 62 seconds. LaMarche had the overtime winner, had 2 goals, continued her dominance. Frank, 34 saves, tied second most of the season at the time, and her nation-leading 24th win. But for me, it was everyone else that stepped up as well. Peyton Cormier scored the first Quinnipiac goal in that one. That was her first goal since October 4th. Then on top of that, the hero in this one, Ainsley DeTavio. 4-point game, which means she factored in on all 4 goals. She had just 20 points going into the game, so that was a big jump for her. Michaela Watson wasn't playing as well. The top defenseman for Quinnipiac, a second-team All-ECAC player, and DeTavio steps up like that. I just think when you factor in that if they had lost that game, I don't think they win the ECAC championship. I think this lays the foundation to beat Yale later on. So I think that, yes, moment-wise, but it was a 5-1 blowout in the ECAC final, which is why I had to go with the regular season finale when everything was on the line.
Yeah, and I completely respect that take. Again, if I didn't pick this, if I didn't pick the championship game, it would have been that for me. I just think that the fact that Yale had, a 7-2 win against Cornell the day before, and Quinnipiac just came off of an overtime win versus Princeton, they were exhausted, and by all means, Yale should have had all of the momentum. Hockey is all about momentum.
I just think Quinnipiac didn't have any pressure.
I am going to have to agree with you here, Zach. I just think that getting that overtime win against Yale was truly the momentum they needed to carry them all the way to the ECAC finals. But now we're going to head to the benches. Let's hear what you guys think are the coaches of the year. Zach, for one last time, start us off.
I hope you pick the same player after here, or excuse me, the same coach after A block. Paula Miller. Paula Miller was named Coach of the Year after an undefeated regular season title, back-to-back MAAC tournament championships, and has earned MAAC Coach of the Year 9 out of 11 seasons at the helm. Pure dominance from her, but we're just talking about this year. How about coaching the MAAC Player of the Year in Willow Renton, which you mentioned, 2 first-team singles selections, 2 second-team singles selections, and a first- and second-team double selections. So her players are talented up and down the board, whether it's in singles or it's in doubles. Now, to something you mentioned earlier, they didn't lose a point against Mount St. Mary's and only lost 1 in the semifinals. How about losing just 10 points across 10 matches all season? 8-0 in the regular season, 2-0 in the playoffs for a perfect 10-0 record. They lost just 10 points. Never mind matches.
I respect your point. Don't get me wrong. And Paula Miller, if I did not choose who I chose, 100% would have been who I chose. I have Cass Turner.
I can't hate that take.
With my pick with the ECAC championships, with the fact that she has led this team, she's been with the program for so long, and the women's tennis team has been incredibly dominant for so long. Like I said, they are a dynasty. And I'd say if you're asking who's the best coach in the last 10 years, I'd say Paula Miller. But if you look at Cass Turner this year and what she's been able to do for the team, the players that she's developed like Felicia Frank, Kayla LaMarche, it's undeniable what she's given to this program.
While both great takes, I just can't seem to ignore the ride that Cass Turner took the Bobcats on this past season, and she for sure is my Coach of the Year. Well, it is time for our final commercial break of the night, but don't go anywhere, as when we come back, we will be giving our final awards. Stay tuned.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy told him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It's time to give our final roars, and I'll start us off. This year has been, to be honest, a lot, and I'm exhausted. I have always been one to say that I prefer being busy rather than bored, and while I'm grateful for the weight of my workload, I would be lying if I said there weren't nights I felt crushed under my obligations, to put it simply. This year has been hard work, which is why it's an honor to be sharing a desk with two of the hardest working people between Q30 and QBSN. I never had an older sister, and when I was little, I used to see movies of sisters sharing clothing and jewelry and wonder what it was like. And there's no doubt that Kat has become an older sister in my time at college. It's been a little over a year now since we've gotten close, and I'm not exaggerating when I say she is one of the most dedicated people I've met in college. I can't name the amount of organizations she's devoted her time, patience, and care towards. Just this past weekend, she was up until 4 a.m. after working Wake the Giant through SPB. I'm not going to sit here and take you through her achievements, but I figured in Kat fashion, I'd shout out some of my favorite memories with her. Shout out to Kat for being someone I could talk to in QBSN when I was nervous last year, for calming me down in the wedge when I just couldn't figure out how to phrase a topic bar, for being a mentor and guide at so many games these past 2 years. Shout out to Kat and James for dragging me out of my dorm at 10 o'clock at night with no explanation and driving an hour out of town just to show me the world's tallest statue of Uncle Sam. If I had time to explain how much all of this meant to me, I would, but I'm grateful that I finally feel like I have an older sister to turn to. Now, hopefully, I've done a good enough job on this final broadcast to call my co-analyst by his first name, but as many would agree, Zach is not what most people know him as. I first took note of Naffah close to the end of my first semester at Quinnipiac. I immediately noticed his talent and communication as a producer. His beat reporting content was stellar, and there was no doubt he gave his all to every single space he entered. He is always the hardest worker in the room. Naffah became one of my closest friends this year when I got the chance to executive produce alongside him. His commitment and resilience in a no doubt stressful space continues to be something I admire. One of my biggest fears this year was letting Naffah down as a co-executive producer, and I did everything in my power to pull my weight in a position that truly never naturally clicked for me. It's easy to try to hold yourself to a high professional standard so fully that sometimes you lose sight of holding yourself accountable as a friend. I wish I had more time with both of the people I'm on desk with tonight. And Naffah, thank you for believing in me in a time where I couldn't believe in myself, because you will always inspire me. Plenty of people have said it over these last few weeks, but burnout is very real. I admire anyone who devotes their time and spirit to their work, but this is a reminder to not lose yourself. You are more than the sum of your parts. You are more than your work. It's okay to take a step away from things. Don't shove yourself into spaces where you don't fit. Find what you're made for. Enjoy the work you do. Enjoy the people you love, and enjoy yourself. And in the midst of it all, don't forget to live your life.
When I was a kid, I had a dream of making it to Radio City Music Hall to be a rockette. Then my priorities shifted towards a different pair of lights down 6th Avenue to Madison Square Garden, where my dad introduced me to the New York Rangers, and I instantly fell in love with the world of sports media. I saw reporters like Sam Rosen and Emily Kaplan and just knew I wanted to be just like them. Came to campus 4 years ago with plans to get involved with everything that I could, but yet I was nowhere to be found in media. In fact, I avoided it as much as I could. I was scared of making a fool of myself, and honestly cared way too much about others' perspectives of me. It wouldn't be until my sophomore year where I would go and hide in the back of QBSN meetings, and about halfway through that semester that I would decide to give multimedia a shot. That was the moment I knew I had made a massive mistake, as I instantly fell in love with it and had wondered why I wasted time being so afraid. Serving as the social media manager the past 2 years for QBSN has been one of the greatest roller coasters I have ridden. Through the tears, there's been laughs, and through the struggles, there's been triumphs. It's given me so many incredible opportunities, from traveling to the Excel Center for the CTI's tournament just 2 months after becoming a general member, to Atlantic City for the MAAC tournament, and all the way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the NCAA regional finals, all of which have helped me grow so far in my professional career. Yet none of them will compare to how much I have grown personally due to the people who have surrounded me every step of the way. To the QBSN e-board who has surrounded me the past 2 years, you have no idea the impact each and every one of you have made on me. There's a lot of truth behind the Wednesdays 9:30 best day of the week, as it is the time where I get to spend around the people who have grown so near and dear to my heart that I truthfully am dreading saying goodbye to, even though I am so acutely aware of how quickly May 9th is approaching. You all mean the world to me, and I know you are going to go so far in whatever adventure life takes you on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've done the most in Q30. I've never beat reported nor produced. In fact, the most I could say I've done besides working the camera or going on air was that one time I did the teleprompter for Inside the MAAC. But I would be lying if I said that Tuesdays weren't a highlight of my week, going into the wedge and hanging out with the people who have come to mean so much more to me than just friends or coworkers, but my family. If you take away anything from hearing me talk, and trust me, I know I do it a lot, please take this. Don't be afraid, don't wait. In the same breath, though, I'm going to say that it is never too late to join these groups. While one of my biggest regrets from college was not meeting these people earlier, I could not be more grateful for the past 3 years I have been able to spend with them. Thank you to my mom and dad. Without you guys and your support, there's no world where I would have been able to accomplish what I have today. To my siblings, thank you for keeping me laughing and smiling when things got tough. To my best friends, both those who are both sitting right beside me, behind the cameras or at home, and my roommates who have dealt with my endless rants for hours at a time. Every single person who has pushed me to succeed over the past 4 years, I would be nowhere without any of you. As the great Jim Henson once said, life's like a movie, write your own ending, keep believing and keep pretending. We've done just what we set out to do. Thank you QBSN and Q30 for making this the hardest goodbye. I'll always be grateful for you.
Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. A 5-letter term from Hawaiian culture made famous by Lilo and Stitch, and while my water bottle makes it pretty evident the love I have for that movie, the last few years have made me appreciate the lessons from it even more. For all the long nights, the tough days, and the struggles, my 4 years here at Quinnipiac are something I will miss. They weren't perfect, but I won't remember the problems. I'll remember the people who helped me find the solutions and the moments where nothing mattered besides who I was with. As I've come to learn, everyone in student media is gifted. And while, yes, some are better than others, we're all here to learn. Everybody I've met here in student media has pushed me to be the best version of myself, between the 6 different iterations of beat staffs I've been on, a part of, or the ever-changing producing staff of Bobcat Breakdown the last 2 years, those who I idolized ahead of me that will never truly know how much they inspired me, or the first years that I prided myself on setting a good example for, I want to say thank you. Because student media is where you can take risks and get creative, try new things and find your passion, but above all, make new friends and lifelong memories. It took a while to get adjusted here, longer than I wish were the case, and I will forever miss those days in Commons, Hale, and even Dana, but Studio 125 and those adventures that came as a result of time spent here were the most impactful. Yes, after tonight, I will never work on Bobcat Breakdown again. I won't be on another Q30 show, soon broadcasting or writing for QBSN, and soon after that, won't step foot in the media suite on a daily basis. It's sad, it's emotional, but even more importantly, I won't have the impromptu food runs, late night drives, hours spent on the quad, or weekly trips to Aroma Joe's for rushes. Those are memories I will cherish forever. They're moments I've tried to hold on to all year, knowing since August, if not earlier, that I'd miss all of it. I'll be nostalgic for my time here at Quinnipiac, and truth be told, I already have been despite not leaving yet. But nostalgia really is a positive thing because nostalgia only exists if you have something worth missing. So back to Ohana. Ohana doesn't just mean blood relatives, but chosen family, friends, and those who support you. And I've found so many in the last 4 years, too many to name, particularly in student media. So thank you to my family, my friends, friends who have become family, and everyone who has supported me here at Quinnipiac. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that I appreciate every single person, both in this room or watching from home, and hope I've left a positive impact on all of you, because you are all a part of my Ohana, and isn't that what college is supposed to be about?